America's pastime has been a part of the Vegas community for over 40 years. And as our city grew, so did the love of the game. Now, excitement is growing for our next home team. All season long, Fox 5 and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network are covering athletics baseball on the field in our community as we build our future together. America's pastime will soon call the Valley home. Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's.
What's up, baseball fans? Welcome to a brand new show, the first of its kind, the first ever Vegas show devoted strictly to athletics baseball. This is Covering the Bases with the A's. I'm Mike Davis. Let's see what's on deck. All right, well, here's the batting order for today's show. A walk-off walk gives the A's the series win, and Shea stays hot, this time with a grand slam, plus a return for stud rookie shortstop Jacob Wilson. Also, a trip inside the clubhouse with A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt as she talks Wilson, Lopez, and so much more. And later, a conversation with Aviators manager Fran Reardon for our On the Farm segment as he talks playoffs. But first, we need to walk it off.
One and Tyler Soderstrom most recently. And that will do it. Good eye from Daryl Hernandez. In comes Tyler Soderstrom, and the A's win 7-6 on a walk-off walk.
There you have it, a walk-off walk in extras to take down the Detroit Tigers, a team who holds the best record in the American League. Now, it all started with Tyler Soderstrom's game-tying hit, a couple of walks, and a bunt later. Then that all set the stage for Daryl Hernandez. Bases loaded, Hernandez on a 3-1 count takes the ball and walks to first, leading the A's to victory. A big win, not only taking down a juggernaut, but special as the A's have won 20 of their last 30 games. They have the second best record in the MLB since July 24th.
A couple games since we've seen Shea get ahead. 2-1, Langoliers! See you later! Grand slam for Shea Langoliers, and the A's take the lead!
Boom, baby! Did you hear that crack? And just the day before that walk-off walk, more fireworks for this team as catcher Shea Langoliers continues his hot play, this time cracking a 450-foot grand slam off perhaps the best pitcher in baseball, the reigning AL Cy Young winner Tarik Skubal. The grand slam led the A's to an 8-3 win, and get this, that was the first career grand slam allowed by Skubal. Let's hear what Shea had to say.
Yeah, I mean, with a guy that's that good, all you can do is kind of just scratch and claw and try to stay in the game, do everything you can, try to stack good at bats together. And in the 7th inning, we were able to do that, load the bases, and then obviously I got a pitch I could handle. One of the cooler moments I've had being in the big leagues is just, like I said, Skubal's so good. He's the best pitcher in the sport, and to be able to have a moment like that was really cool.
Skubal's reaction was just classic as well, but Langoliers is quickly becoming one of the great young catchers in the game, starting to realize the potential that the A's saw when they traded for him with the Atlanta Braves back in 2022. Now, some more good news. The A's are happy to have rookie shortstop Jacob Wilson back in the fold. Wilson got to work quick in his first game back since suffering that forearm fracture in July. Now, Wilson collected an RBI single versus the Mariners.
5-1 to advance and play the Houston Astros. A swing for Jacob Wilson, the drive to left, and Jacob Wilson has a homer!
But he's not just hitting for contact. He's also adding some power too, as you just saw there, hitting 2 homers since his return to the lineup. Wilson has 8 RBI in 5 games since joining the lineup, and an already hot team gets some more firepower with Wilson's return. We'll see if he can add some more to his exciting AL Rookie of the Year campaign. Now, prior to Wilson's return, the A's won their last 2 series, including a sweep of the Minnesota Twins, where the A's scored 18 runs over the course of just 3 games. The bats in this lineup are as dangerous as any in the league, and they are showing exactly what they're capable of. Take a look at this. The A's have the second best record in baseball since July 24th, with a 20-10 record over their past 30 games. That's the best of any team in the majors, behind only the Milwaukee Brewers, who have the best record in all of baseball. But it shows just how dangerous this lineup is and the potential that they have going forward. It's going to be exciting to watch this young team grow and develop as they finish up this season and head into 2026. And speaking of 2026, we have next year's schedule already available, and we now know that the Athletics will play 6 games in Summerlin in 2026, all at the home of their AAA affiliate, the Las Vegas Aviators. Now, the homestand begins on June 8th against the Milwaukee Brewers and ends with a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies. This is a great chance for Vegas locals to get a look at their new team before 2028. Meanwhile, here's something you can take a look at: the A's ballpark construction camp. This is a live camera that you can access 24/7 to keep up with all progress as work continues on the A's new ballpark on the Las Vegas Strip. Now, it's starting to get busy there, as you can see work on the base and the ballpark all coming together. And just to see some more of this, you can go to ballparkexperience.athletics.com/ballparkcam. All right, now on deck, it's time to go inside the clubhouse. A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt talks with Mariah Janos about the Jacobs, that is, Wilson's return, and Lopez's injury. Plus, we celebrate Summerlin South Little League. All that and so much more coming up.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
All right, it's time to welcome in our A's insider, Jessica Kleinschmidt. Jess, let's start with some not so great news. Jacob Lopez headed to the 15-day IL. Couldn't come at a worse time. He's been such a productive pitcher for the A's in his last several outings, and low-key been one of the strongest American League rookie pitchers out there this season. What are you hearing? What does this mean for the team going forward?
Obviously, losing a guy like Jacob Lopez is going to be detrimental just because, like you said, the productive half he's been having, really the last few outings for him have been career changers, especially for an AL rookie. And coming over in the trade from the Rays, you're seeing how productive he is. Losing him in that rotation, obviously the nicest way to say it, kind of sucks when it comes to these guys, especially with him, the way that he's been pitching. And I really appreciate him saying that he's not leaning in on the injury. His last outing against the Seattle Mariners left a lot to be desired. Definitely not characteristic of what he's able to do, but hopefully it's not a huge stint. We're not sure if he's going to return before the end of the season, but either way, the numbers that he's put up so far, it's definitely a great start to his MLB career.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the other Jacob Wilson, he is back after a left forearm fracture, collecting an RBI single in his return. What are you seeing from him now that he's returned with the team?
My gosh, he doesn't skip a beat. We know he's productive at the plate. If you're in the same sentence as Tony Gwynn with your consistency, I think you're going to be okay. And mind you, the A's were still rather successful without their most consistent hitter on the team. So to bring him back after being on the IL, it just adds to the productive of that team, especially the young core. So knowing that that shortstop situation is going to be there for a while, I think his defense needs to kind of even back out again, but offensively, he never skipped a beat. And to add to that powerful lineup that's already there, it's awesome to see. So once he gets that glove kind of better than it was probably more earlier in the season, we know he's so amazing with that baseball IQ on the defensive level. He's just going to continue being a star.
Well, keeping it at the plate, another hot hitter, Shea, he just really demonstrated what he can do Monday night with that grand slam. Just what has he meant to the team, and what's the outlook for next season with all of these heavy hitters that they got in this roster?
I love that question so much. And yeah, Shea Bangaliers is very much the perfect nickname for him. And to take Tarek Skubal not only yard, but give up the only Grand Slam, the first Grand Slam in his career, definitely something for a reigning Cy Young Award winner. But Shea is just as productive at the plate that he is behind. But let's talk about the offensive capability. 17 home runs in the second half. If there was a second half MVP award, it would go to Shea Langoliers. And he's just seen the ball so well. He's not straying away with what he knows, even if the numbers weren't there earlier on in the season. It's something very important to him. And he's always had that raw power, especially coming over in the trade from the Braves. It was if he can make it productive and get it more consistent. Now he definitely is. He's finding the gaps. He's being more patient at the plate. Strike zone recognition has been fantastic. And then, of course, what he does behind the plate, he's a pitcher, a servant to the pitcher, and that's his number one priority on the defensive end. But when you talk to his teammates, they're picking his brain, of course, about pitching, but they're like, how are you seeing the ball so well? And Shea just, that's what he's done, and his days finally come. And it's so good to see the productivity even out with what he's able to do behind the plate, because his game planning, some of the best in the league, obviously has a solid arm. So to know that bat's evening out with the glove, it's great to see.
No doubt about that. All right, A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now ready. Call strike three, and that's it. The Summerlin South Little Leaguers find the summit. They are United States Little League World Series champions.
A big congratulations to our champions, the Summerlin South Little Leaguers, right here in Southern Nevada. Our United States Little League World Series champs. They took down Connecticut in the title game 8-2 after an offensive outburst. They had lost to Connecticut in the semifinals, but Nevada rallied, fighting back from the losers bracket to see Connecticut again in the championship game. And they got the job done. The team unfortunately lost to Chinese Taipei in the Little League World Series championship game, but still had an incredible run, earning the right to call themselves U.S. Little League World Series champs. A's broadcaster and former pitcher Dallas Braden sent the team a message after the tournament.
How we doing, boys? I wanted to reach out and congratulate you guys on an incredible run. I know the season may not have ended how you would have liked, but that doesn't mean that you should not acknowledge all of the hard work and all of the success that you have had along the way. It takes a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication to be able to get to where you boys were this summer. So regardless of how things turned out in Williamsport, you need to know that each and every one of you are still champions. You're champions in the heart and in the minds of each other, as teammates, as friends. I know your families are extremely proud of what you guys were able to accomplish. So regardless of the win or loss, at the very end of the day, you are all champions. And I can't wait to see each and every one of you in the big leagues very soon. So from the entire athletics family, I want to say congratulations on an incredible summer and a fantastic run. And we'll see you soon.
One of the best guys there. We love Dallas Braden. Such a sweet message and note right there. Well, we want to congratulate Summerlin South Little League from everyone here at Fox 5. You made all of us here in Nevada so proud. A parade was held to celebrate the champs Wednesday night in downtown Summerlin. Now after the break, we're taking a trip to the farm. Mariah Janos talks with Aviators manager Fran Reardon as Summerlin gets set for the PCL playoffs.
But time for some trivia before we go to break. The A's have sent 7 pitchers to the MLB Hall of Fame, but only one can lay a real claim to being the greatest pitcher of all time. Which former Athletic led the league in ERA a record 9 times? Was it Lefty Grove, Catfish Hunter, Raleigh Fingers, or Dennis Eckersley? We got the answer right after the break.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
All right, we're back with the answer to the question, which A's Hall of Fame pitcher led the American League in earned run average a record 9 times? We're looking for Lefty Grove. The only guy who came close to that was Roger Clemens, who did it 7 times. Grove, simply put, dominated hitters. He played 17 seasons in the majors, most of them with the A's. That means more than half of them he finished with the league's best ERA. He also led the American League 4 times in wins with the A's and 7 times in a row in strikeouts.
Here's the 1-0. Swinging this one out towards right field. Thomas goes back at the wall, but that one is out of here.
Fran, first half of the season taken care of. You guys clinched. The second half, a bit of a slower start. Why have these two halves of the season been so polarizing? Is there an area of concern there?
I don't think there's an area of concern. A lot of it is the nature of AAA and the Coast League. You know, just movement up and down, transactions, our guys going up to the major leagues, and honestly doing a really good job of producing at the major league level. And you know, we don't have a lot of those guys in our lineup. We don't have a lot of those guys in our starting rotation anymore, in the bullpen anymore. And it's just a constant flux of, you know, competing every night with what we have available.
Well, you mentioned the transactions. You look at it, there's moves being made daily, and like you said, it's just the nature of the game. Looking specifically at the relationship between AAA and the Major League club, what are those conversations like? Is Mark Kotze calling you up asking for your opinion? Are they just saying, hey, we've noticed this guy's looking pretty good, we want him? How does that transaction kind of work?
Well, most of it is need-based. You know, if the Major League team needs something, whether somebody gets injured or they're looking for more production at a certain position, you know, they look at the guys in AAA, what they've been doing, how they've been performing, how their skill set fits with the Major League team, and then the transactions are made accordingly. So there's communication with the front office, there's communication with the Major League staff, and then there's communication with the player. Hey, you're going to go up, and, you know, it's time for your opportunity to shine at the Major League level.
Well, the A's recently had a pretty good draft, taking Jamie Arnold 11th overall. Historically, if you look at the top picks for the A's, they've kind of flown through the farm system pretty rapidly from the date of being drafted. Is there something here at the AAA level that you try to really focus on with these players to aid in their development?
Well, the faster they move through the system, the faster they have to learn the professional game. And this is kind of their finishing school. You know, AAA is the last step before they go to the big leagues, and they have to be prepared for every instance that could happen in a major league game. And there's so many things that happen on a day-to-day basis here that can prepare them for that, where you have to say, hey, look, if this happens in the major league level, it's going to be a much bigger deal because of the scrutiny, because of the stakes, and we have to make them aware of things that they need to improve on, of the things that they're doing well, and get them ready to take that next step.
All right, good stuff there from Mariah. And Aviators fans, you can follow along with all the action as the team heads towards the PCL playoffs right here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Now, here's a look at the schedule. Your next opportunity to watch them play will be on Thursday, August 28th, when the team takes on the Iowa Cubs. All right, coming up, we're previewing the upcoming series for the A's. And get this, it's an AL West showdown. Stick around.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
This is a great day for Las Vegas.
Las Vegas has proven itself to be a great sports town and a great host to professional franchises.
It's an epic moment for our 124-year-old franchise. 2028, we have opening day out here on the Las Vegas Strip. 3, 2, 1.
History starts now. Yes, A's fans get priority access to purchase season tickets in Las Vegas for just $19.01. Now, current A's season ticket members, Aviators season ticket holders, as well as Clark County residents who secure their spot on the priority access list will receive purchase priority ahead of the general fan. For more information, all you have to do is visit athletics.com/Vegas. Now, this past weekend, Al's Garage here in Vegas held a watch party for the A's game against the Mariners. Stomper, of course, was in the house as fans enjoyed the game, plus some exclusive A's merchandise. Check all that out right there. A fun time over there in Summerlin, and there's so much more to come as we count down to opening day 2028. Keep an eye out for more watch parties around the Las Vegas Valley. Okay, now let's take a look at who the A's have next on the schedule. The last series in the month of August, the A's will take on the Texas Rangers for 3 games in Sacktown, an AL West showdown. The Rangers sit at 3rd place in the division with a record of 67-67. Texas is currently 6 games out of 1st place as we're taping this, but the Rangers are dealing with some unfortunate news as their right-hander, Nathan Eovaldi, is likely done for the season due to a rotator cuff strain. A favorite for the AL Cy Young, Eovaldi was 11-3 with a career-best 1.73 ERA in 22 starts. Now together with Jacob deGrom, the Rangers and Eovaldi had a sweet 1-2 punch at the top of the rotation as they were looking to make a late playoff push, but now the A's will likely have to face Jack Leiter, Merrill Kelly, and of course Jacob deGrom, one of the best in the big leagues. He leads the team in strikeouts with 155. Well, that's a wrap on this edition of Covering the Bases with the A's. For the rest of the team here, I'm Mike Davis. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. But until then, be good and go A's.